No love affair ever goes according to plan, and this one is no different. We find a family in turmoil, a biker crew at war, and the spirit of rivalry manifesting deep inside their couple's inner city. This is a fragile time in their love where focus on the moment is critical to the survival of romance. However, temptation and desire are clever weapons from the soldiers of distraction. Nothing is what it seems. Everything they thought they knew about one another becomes something they just learned. The attack against their happiness is relentless. Death hangs in the air just as thick as their love for one another. Welcome to another front row seat to the dynamics of intimacy. Welcome to the untold story that gives unrest to the fearful. Welcome to my life personified.
Ladies and gentlemen, please respect the poets and please respect the mic. Evolution is imminent. There is nothing more constant than change. You are witnessing my manifesto in the game. Okay? Because I'm speaking about the evils in the game. This was the hardest creative project I have ever done, and I've been writing since I was 5. Because I am speaking on the motherfucking devil. That's why the book is red and black. That is why you see the pentagram on top of it, because I am shining lights on the evil. Okay? Chick downstairs didn't even want to touch the book. She was just like, it's 5-star. Oh, devil. The pentagram is only evil if it's upside down. I explained the pentagram in detail in the book. I am no motherfucking joke. I do my homework. But for me to give to you, you gotta give to me. Can you do that? Okay? For me to give to you, you have to give back. Alright? Because I got some bad news and some good news. The bad news is I am not here to entertain you. The good news is I'm here to connect with you. Connection is the best entertainment your mind can have. So I need you to give back. So we will take a trip through vocabulary words and their definition. May the crowd say the phrase spiritual warfare.
Spiritual warfare.
Now, I would define this, but it's too long. Damn, it's too long. So I am going to define it in verse.
Okay.
I started out as a warrior in heaven before birth, unaware of the spirits doing battle on earth, contrary to one another, contrary to my own. The battle lines were drawn and the differences were shown. As I strove towards excellence, I made enemies content with mediocrity. Being diligent, I made enemies content with laziness. Trying to unite, I made enemies working to divide. Finding joy, I made enemies lost in misery. Now listen closely, because I'm not a preacher, teacher, or a high-paid public speaker. I'm just a storyteller, telling you a story of when I was weaker and how the game gets fucking deeper. My personal war started out as a compliment. Yes, a compliment. That spoke on the rigid nature of my vertical spine and how I held my shoulders back and chin high by divine design. What I didn't know was that a compliment rooted in envy is a declaration of war. Listen closely, for the humble this may cause some confusion. A compliment rooted in envy is a declaration of war. Isn't it like evolution, like struggles and revolution? For example, must be nice. I'm not talking about the sister. The sister must be nice when she's on the wall. Must be nice. I ain't talking about your brother teasing you and y'all both got the new Lexus. I'm talking about the must be nice that comes from somebody that is not on your level and isn't willing to do the work to get to your level. Right. Must be nice. Oh, Divine Element, y'all doing like 5 shows a week. Must be nice. Oh, Tina ATL, you got like 3 CDs. Must be nice. Oh, Nikki, excitement, you doing that Graffiti Bleu show. Must be nice. See, words like these in the coward's tongue for spite. When that shit happened to me, it didn't feel right. So I moved on. I felt the darkness, so I pressed on. I continue to walk with excellence deep inside the soles of my tattered shoes, and I'll be the first to admit that yes, I did stumble while walking over bumps, spread over bleeding over the floors. As I refuse to fall or lose, I made enemies that resemble family members. Listen clearly, because I don't think y'all hear me. As I refuse to fall or lose, I made enemies that resemble family members. Little did I know that I was a dead man walking, marked for simply providing a spark, marked for being courageous at heart, marked for having the Lord's confirmation for eyes who need to bear witness to the Lord's good grace. His grace just makes the devil more persistent. This grace just makes his legions more insistent. I would find out the hard way. My mind's that were narrow. One day I got shot with betrayal's flaming arrow. It went through my back and pierced my heart. I can still taste the poison of a bold-faced lie as it travels my bloodstream. It would have been easy for me to lay down and die, asking over and over, oh, why, God, why? But as I dressed my wounds and wrapped in the dressings, I looked around and I noticed that I still had my blessings. Yeah, all they did was make my spiritual armor stronger, which made their hate last even longer. So forgive them, Father, for they obviously do not know what they do. I would have been just like them had I held on to my anger. So to my enemies I say, I forgive you too. Are you with me? Yes. Crowd say spiritual warfare. Spiritual warfare. All right now.
I'm pouring my heart out here, please. Show your love, please. That's what's up. Let's keep it going. I need some more from you. The vocabulary word is rejection. May the crowd say rejection. Rejection. Rejection, I can define this one. Rejection is defined as the art of rejecting or the state of being rejected. Something rejected. In medicine, the failure of a recipient's body to accept a transplant tissue or organ as a result of incompatibility. But we could go further than that. To cast away like spoiled milk. To discard like outmoded customs. To discard like yesterday's underpants. Respect the mic. To be dropped like a dead fish, dropped like the A from the A-list of a hot rivet. He shook young women off his back like a young stallion shaking off an unskilled rider. Rejection. Keep at a distance like someone with a dirty pair of drawers. May the crowd say rejection. Rejection. All right.
My exterior, well, it's strong, like a man. But my interior, well, it's frail, like a woman. I'm trying my hard to hide my emotions, afraid that if I show them, I'll be judged. I love hard, like a thunderstorm, trying not to kill the ones I'm pouring my love on. Well, rejection. Where rejection comes commonplace, cumbersome and complacent. Where I'm trying not to break my neck while stepping over my own defeat that rings out like a bell far, far away, sounding off like when you hear the forest through the trees. Hell, my knees have bled from all the prayers I've read, asking God, please have mercy on me. Father says, you're a unique person, no more than you can bear. My friends repeat, you're a unique person, and your soul is rare. But all I see is a lonely person standing there, with no one to talk to, where God has turned his back on because I'm too afraid to tell the truth. My introduction to this world makes it easy to be friends with me. My complications as a person, well, that makes me your closest friend.
Okay.
All I'm saying is,
That's all right, folks. Got this.
my rejection and my makes me your closest friend. I'm handcuffed to this whack-ass reality, trying my hardest to be set free, without losing all resemblance of my own identity. Hell, I still plead the mother, the voice of reason, the one who carried me through all the seasons, the ones I've called friends, the ones I've called men, the ones I've called lovers, hell, even the ones I've called companions. So I developed a false sense of security early, wanting to believe that my real father would never hurt me. The mindset that a man's actions, or that a man is his actions, was more than a blur every time getting left behind. But now I'm a grown woman, thinking it's okay for a man to hurt me, mixing hurt with love as my true fallacy. That ain't right. Mixing hurt, you didn't hear me, mixing hurt with love as my true fallacy. Well, I developed a different way of processing things, taking what he called an accidental mistake and calling it a human being. Being that you never wanted me to mistrust your game, just associate your cheating with my shame, his physical abuse, and you wanted me to be a recluse. Seduction is your name. And you was analyzing my bottom lip, wondering if I'm a good lady, playing the words over in your head, exactly what you're gonna use to make me stay. Well, I got news for you. Letting you get this close to me has become an art. Nothing on paper or canvas, just a dance I'll manage to use to let you get in my pants to see if you really had a chance. Or will you be forever immortalized in my own personal trinity? This pen or paper, and a never forgotten memory.
Ladies and gentlemen, the vocabulary word is pain. May the audience please say pain. Pain. Pain is described as an unpleasant sensation occurring in varying degrees of severity as a consequence of injury, disease, or an emotional disorder, suffering, or distress. Informal, a source of annoyance or nuisance. Ladies and gentlemen, the vocabulary word is pain. Please say pain, please. Pain. Everybody been hurt up in here.
It's late.
And I'm up by myself, drowning my sorrows to the point where I'm standing at the bottom of this bottle like it holds an answer key for all my problems. Or at least teach me how to solve them. But all it's really helping me do is go numb. Now I'm shedding tears on top of her picture, staring in front of mirrors, looking at that image in disgust, like what have I become? A drummer. Tried calling out for help time and time again, but no one seems to pick up because all the pain out, bro. So I guess it's true that misery loves company, because every time this bottle comes around, the guarantees will bring my inner demons out for fun. And it doesn't make the situation any better that every sip from this bottle tastes like a kiss from the devil. And as my buzz increases, I can see the smile he gives me like he's eager to give my soul a warm welcome. Scared, so I'm wiping my face and shaking my head from the thoughts of it, telling myself I can get away from this, so I grab my keys and now I'm on the highway speeding. I'm faded, swerving in out of lanes, kind of sleepy, until I catch a glimpse of what seems to be my beautiful queen there. I figure if I can catch her attention and talk to her, she can help me gain a little shield. So I speed forward, fast and racing towards her. As soon as I get near, everything goes blank. Like she wasn't even there. Now I remember being told once before, if you love something too much, it can mean the death of you. Well, I guess it's true. Because I woke up to a tall, dark door with a grim voice to my greeting, saying, "Welcome, Byron. I've been watching you for a while. I've been so eager to meet you." Now, I know most people get uncomfortable when a sad story doesn't have a happy ending. So just know that old me had to die before this new can start living.
Ladies and gentlemen, the vocabulary word is strength. May the audience say strength. Strength is defined as the state property or quality of being strong, the power to resist attack and impregnability, the power to resist strain or stress, durability, the ability to maintain a moral or intellectual position firmly, capacity or potential for effective action. The vocabulary word is strength. One more time, can the audience please say the word strength? Strength. Amen.
It's very special to me. It gives me a type of long-lasting security. It's who I choose to take it off me. The days that I stare, and every day when I come to realize more and more how much I really don't care about anything, fuck you, nigga. I don't like you. I don't want you. Sometimes I just think about wanting to suck your dick and ride you so damn good. I just want to say,
grabbed her by her neck, forced her against the wall, stuck my hand up her dress, felt her wetness, and ripped the panties off her thighs. See, baby was on a roller coaster ride, and she didn't even know why. She just enjoyed the ride. See, if she had taken a look into my history, she would have seen there was a Holocaust in my life, that you were the Hitler in my life. See, you were the reason I was hitting her tonight. And I won't apologize. How with every thrust, I lifted my Apollo inside because you didn't want me in your life. So I was gonna let her suck you out mine. See, we were gonna fuck you out mine. Yeah, we were gonna fuck you out mine.
Okay.
And it felt like with every scratch and bite, a release of pain inside. Every time she gripped the sheets tight, I felt like a man again. Me going deeper in, falling deeper in, really into losing me. Because she isn't you, and this isn't me. Thinking that her dominatrix could suffocate the air that we breathe, that her screams could drown out my cries for you. See, at that moment, I realized that no matter how many nuts came, I still would be crazy in love with you. No matter how many women walked through the door, the only one that still mattered was you. And it was like voodoo, because at that moment, I know I was looking at her, but she became you. And you kissed me like you used to. You grabbed me and pulled me in closer to you. I smelled your favorite perfume. You turned, you filled the room. You asked me if I missed you. And I told you like furniture not in a room. Like a dustpan in no room. And I never wanted you to leave again, because when you left, it felt like my life swept away with you. Because I love you. And then my phone rang. It rang with the sounds that only a broken-hearted man could give to you. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's just heartache and pain. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. And she's always gone too long. Anytime she's gone away. And when I opened my eyes, I saw that she wasn't you. Your scent was no longer in the room. All that was left was residue. All that was left was the way that I feel about you. But what I remember most about that night is when I looked at her. See, her eyes let me know that she knew that I was talking to you. That she knew that I was having sex with her while making love to you. 'Cause ain't no sunshine, she's gone. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. She's always gone too long. In the sky.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know you felt that. Ladies and gentlemen, the vocabulary word is justice. May the audience please say justice. Now, I could define it right now with something kind of long and kind of boring, but I'm not going to do that. To me, I found justice when I learned who I was and stopped falling for the okie doke. Some of these life lessons we're learning at like 5, and then we let people into our circle that we know better. We know better, and we let them in anyway, thinking that we smarter than the evil. But evil never takes a day off. It's relentless. So I will define justice in verse. As the ice came down and flame found its stride in the Christmas chimney, I laid ink in cursive to the fallen whites. Next level, I embrace you with the company of an old friend. I travel lifeless through the cosmic energy of my rival's survival. I look deep inside despair's pit, gazing at the hole in my punctured heart. I look deeper into the abyss and see the bottom of a wastebasket filled with crumpled paper. Knowledge peeks through the folds, revealing life lessons. I learned that inspiration could sometimes uninspire. I learned better flow when I stopped apologizing. I learned that there was no point in housing a soul without a voice. I felt the warmth of humility in the icy fingers of betrayal. Lost old friends and gained new ones. I learned how to shut the fuck up and listen. Finally. I found irony in the peers that taught me fear in naive youth, only to make me feared by the fearful. I learned to lust for chocolate treats and brandy, heating my lungs in spirit and flesh. I learned the sadness of a nigga's definition and refused to participate. I learned that I only felt lonely when I entertained hate at the party of joy. I became reacquainted with the bottom of my reflection and saw the growth inside silver whiskers. I learned evolution was imminent. I learned that the greenest students could make the best teachers. I learned the karma of passive aggression as well as the importance of a secret war. I learned to be agreeably disagreeable. I learned the persistence of evil thoughts and they travel through the fibers of your pillowcase. Class, I learned the seduction of sexy sugar when one sails solo. I learned to dance with angels and spirits that hoot tales of what really mattered. I learned to love again. I learned to love again. I learned to love again. Ladies and gentlemen, are y'all still with me? Yes. The vocabulary word is redemption. May the audience please say redemption. Redemption. Redemption is described as the act of redeeming or the condition of having been redeemed, recovery or something pawned or mortgaged, the payment of an obligation as a government's payment of the value of its bonds, deliverance upon payment of ransom or rescue. In Christianity, redemption means salvation from sin through Jesus' sacrifice. Okay, may the crowd say redemption, please. Redemption. Yeah.
Keep in mind as we prepare to take this lyrical journey that there is no redemption without first having a fall. There is no redemption without first having a fall. A sliver, that smallest of essences. Its presence is seen in the star-crossed eyes of neo-lovers. It covers their thoughts like a velvet cloak, a shot from Cupid's bow, that sliver of hope, winding its way into the tiniest of crevices like water through the stems of the desert cacti. Yet I have been burned by arrows from hell's quiver. A sliver of glass from the shards of a shattered dream, entering into love's bloodstream with a searing pain. Shredding veins en route to the heart where hope's pure love is ripped apart into hate. Akin to cardiac arrest, though each new nurse tries her best to revive, chest compressed, the once loving soul is no longer alive, heartless. And you cannot resuscitate a void of indifference. No sense. Numb to the touch of a warm-blooded soul, his very being has gone stone cold. Scientists would say, hell's in Kelvin. Negative 273.15 degrees Celsius. No hope to hold, no one to trust. There is no we, there is no us, just solo at absolute zero. His species and genus, Lycion pictus, commonly referred to as wild dog. Fog of descent clouds his judgment, so he relies on animal instinct. Don't think. Insatiable appetite is as bad as his bite, so wild dog is quick to mount, fuck, and find the next bitch with no remorse. Soul off course due to stormy weather, and he wonders whether, if ever, he will find one to weather this tsunami. But there is a light that shines special for him, leading him from the grim to the safety of her arms. She, so blessed, accepting her Christ consciousness, has crucified herself for his sins. And her resurrection means his life can begin again. Life stacked upon life. And this double-decker brings redemption in quadripartition. 4 blessings in 4-part harmony from the womb of a goddess. And a one soulless soul returns from hell with one goal. Hammurabi's code, that is, a life for a life. Sacrifice and lay it down for his wife. The Malcolm to her Betty, the Cliff to her Claire, the Ozzy for her Ruby Dee. To be all that he can be, he is willing to give whatever. For pain is temporary, but glory is forever. And he has found salvation in her eyes, peace on her lips, passion in her thighs, ecstasy between her hips, and eternity as some could. His life she restores daily. That is why she is his son. She warms him, and he revolves around her, locked in a perfect elliptical orbit. He has seen death. She gives him life. There's nothing left to fear. Clear night skies lullaby him into a nocturnal. Clear night skies lullaby him into a nocturnal hibernation. He pours ocular libation for the queen that slumbers at his periphery. Love is no mystery as he gives thanks to the ancestors for guiding him through this chaos, and blesses the Creator, for now he knows, indeed there is a Jerusalem for a tortured soul.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you still with me? I don't think so. I really don't think so. So because I don't think so, and I figured at this point of the game, probably have to shake it up a little bit. The vocabulary word is icing. May the crowd please say icing. Oh, yeah. We talk about the spirit, y'all like it. We talk about icing, y'all like icing! Icing is described or defined as a sweet glaze made of sugar, butter, water, and egg whites or milk, often flavored and cooked and used to cover or decorate baked goods such as cakes and cookies. One more time, and the audience, please say icing. Icing! Yeah.
Trying to be the person you wanted me to be. I mean, isn't that love? Sacrificing everything for us. And what was us? We wasn't even connected. We were just on the surface, nowhere deep intellectually. I was afflicted with love that was a non-existence. I hoped. I waited. Patiently wanting you to love me. Thinking about the what ifs. What if I would just get this? What if I would just do that? What if I did this better? What if? I was so in love with you. I didn't even know what was right. Losing sight because I was okay with you lying and cheating, satisfied with you was giving me what was left. Doggy bag, check please. The cost of your efforts was cheap, but mine was expensive. My description reads, a beautiful disaster caught in the whirlwind of a tornado, destroyed within. My reflection in the mirror was broken into pieces, and if you pick me up, I will cut you deeply. With anger, pride, bitterness, sorrow, jealousy, hurt, depression and pain, loneliness. I was in love with you, and you deceived me. You meant the world to me, and when I finally came to my senses, my hearing no longer impaired by your voice. My sight was cleared of your views. I knew it was no longer you. My focus was on him. He who has seen me at my worst. And he believed I was the best. He wanted my heart and not my body. He became poor so I can become rich. He said, trust me. He'll direct my path, giving me life abundantly. And it wasn't us with him defining us separately, but it was you and I and me and you, one. He was right there, never forsaking me, loving me faithfully. But he told me I had to choose. He said, you love me with your lips, but your heart is still with him. Why do you want Mr. Wrong when you know what is right? Why go back when you've seen the light? In the midst of my triangle of unfaithfulness, he still loved me. And he says this, I'm coming back for you. And I'm fighting for you, but you better be prepared because I did everything for you to see I love you. Blood, sweat, and tears. I said, forgive me. He says, I've already have. Just come back to real love again. Mr. Wrong, the world, holding me to expectations of what I should be and how I should live. My good dude is Christ. His power and his love speaks of true existence. The sun, the moon, the food on my plate, the breath I take, the roof over my head. I thank him. He is my source, my provider, my father. And he says this one last thing to me. You were the last thing I needed on earth to make everything complete. So know your self-worth. This poet's pursuit of pleasure is passion and knowing who he is. I am the icing on his cake.
Infidelity. Do I have to define this one, really? No. Let's see what the book says. Let's just see. Unfaithfulness to a sexual partner, especially a spouse, an act of sexual unfaithfulness, lack of fidelity or loyalty, lack of religious belief. May the audience one more time please say the vocabulary word infidelity. Infidelity! Yeah.
What, big sister?
Goddamn. There's nothing wrong with a married man and a woman being friends as long as boundaries are respected and everyone is honest. See, she knew who I was. She just didn't know my position. She didn't know that I thought her husband was a hot commodity and I was seeking to acquire acquisition. So texting became sexting and hi, how are you? Turned into baby, I miss you, and you are so cool. Migrated into I love yous and I love you too's. With midnight rendezvous, paths taken at least, hearts broken and minds confused, and he became a boo. My earth, wind, and fire, we were dancing in September. We were like fires fueled by cinders. He was my silky, silky soul cinder. An affair to remember, my homie lover friend. He was like cold sheets in winter. He was like the ice cream truck, and I just stole 50 cents from my mom's purse. He was my blessing, and he was my curse. The funnel cake at the state fair, the ones I couldn't have to myself, I didn't mind if I had to share. He was my Idris, my Denzel, my Barack, my Shaka, my Zeus, my Nino Brown. That brother was my king. for me, I was just a commoner and he reigned over everything. He was my heart's desire. My dream come true, but see, like some dreams, they can turn into nightmares. And nightmares are your subconscious fears struggling to breathe on surface. And no matter how much you try to smother your conscience, it will find life without your assistance. And the battle between wrong versus right will always be the fight that will meet with resistance. See, we were selfish in our pursuits. But like a Jones New York suit, it seemed to hang just right. But seemingly, it wasn't. And pretty soon, guilt took place. As a matter of fact, it catapulted into outer space. It came back stronger than ever. It was supersonic. The feelings were by because there is nothing good that will ever come from bad. Nothing good will ever come from bad. So no matter how sad, I had to be willing to do what he was unwilling to do. So he was like a lot of men. He wanted his cake and his ice cream too. And though I never asked him to leave her, truthfully, honestly, how could he love either one of us true if he was divided in two? See, even the laws of nature will always require that you choose, and I chose me. See, I had to accept it equal. She and I, we could never be. See, she was his sugar, and I was his substitute. She was his 18, and I was his 20. I was his friend, but she was his family. And no matter what I was losing, I was gaining in my dignity. No longer ashamed of the reflection I see, I now see self-respectability because I was worth more. I was worth more than stolen moments governed by clocks. I was worth more than love on a stopwatch. I was worth more than hotel rooms with scarlet letters hanging from the door. I deserved more. So I made a vow to never be with a man that belonged to another. And I left him with his wife to recommit himself to forsaking all others. I never wanted to be beside.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to wrap things up. But before we do, I want to talk to the ladies. I want to talk to the ladies and confess that I had made a terrible mistake in the game of love. Naively, I thought that you could keep the romance going indefinitely if you just tried. I was wrong. May the audience please say romance. The vocabulary word is romance, please. What I did not know that anything living or as organic as romance has to die. Okay? Am I over your head? Anything living has to die. The trick for immortality is rebirth, is born again. So, when I was writing this poem about romance, I called it The Revenge of Romance. And the best way to get revenge for romance is to be born again. Your romance will die. Married for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, oh, it will die. Let it. Make sure that you give it rebirth. Don't try to not let it die, just try to make it born again. So when I was writing it, it sounded a lot like wedding vows. So I want you to take this trip with me, and if I was on the altar promising this woman that I know the romance will die, but I promise to avenge it. Imagine yourself on the beach with me. Don't make me laugh, I'm trying to be serious. And I'm professing these wedding vows to you. Let's take it down a notch and feel this shit.
Thank you so much.
Fatigue is not an option for my warrior heart. For today I am making this promise. My enemies dwell in sunlight's fog. For today I am making this promise. To give you love eternally by living forever through the birth of poetic children. The little hearts bursting with hope, which is the lifeblood of romance. I weep for romances that have fallen to tireless foes with swords and shields handmade and silk weaved with the threads of selfishness and pride. There, on the battlefield, love lay slain. There, on the battlefield, is someone's pain. I promise to avenge their excellent spirits through our love, for through our love anything is possible. I promise to use spontaneity as a weapon against mediocrity. I promise to hold our joy close to my heart so that it will not get stolen during the secret wars. I admire your talents as a shapeshifter, be you woman or black butterfly. Romance will have its revenge through us. The revenge of romance will live through us. Your child of hope is born unto me, and I am reborn as your husband for now and forever. The soldier in my soul promises the eternal protection of our love unborn in this life and the next we will always be. Let me slow that shit down for you. The soldier in my soul promises the eternal protection of our love unborn in this life and the next we will always be. Ladies and gentlemen, the vocabulary word is romance. Can you please say romance? We're gonna get out of here, but we gotta show some love to these incredible artists. Announcing them in the order that they appeared, please show your love for Nikki Excitement. Nikki Excitement, recognize. Nikki Excitement, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Byron Walter, the poet Byron Walter. Show your love. Ladies and gentlemen, do I even have to introduce her? Tina ATL. Tina ATL, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, the poet, got a lot of respect for his brother, Calvin Rowe. Please show your love, a lot of respect for this cat too. Bobby Jackson. Show your love. I know they might stand up after this one. Ladies and gentlemen, show your love for the poet, Lady K. Lady K, ladies and gentlemen. Last and certainly not least, show your love for the poet, Journey Poets. Now, none of this is possible without support, so I would personally like to thank the promoters, team, Divine Elements, She Dot, Demetria of She Dot,